doesn't look great. Looks like only 2 follicles now, even though there's 9 there. There's only 2 of them that are any decent size, and I just wonder if it's because of we had to change the medication because there's a shortage of the one that seems to work for me, and I just wonder. There's no point wondering, but anyway, 9 follicles but only 2 eggs, probably. Bugger. Hey guys, so I am just hiding out in here because it's time to do my trigger. Yeah, so John's not here, he's working on the ambulance. So it means I have to do this by myself, which is a bit weird. I don't think I've ever done it by myself. It's never worked out that way. And the funny thing is, like, I know I was thinking about this, how when you first start IVF, it's all so intense. And I mean, it's intense the whole way, but maybe it's a little bit more possible to do things with your partner if you have one, or do things with somebody else who can help you. But when you're doing your, like, what is it? 15, 18, 19, 19th egg collection. It's kind of not so easy to schedule around, especially because, you know, you got to work to pay for the IVF. So I'm sure you guys have experienced this, where you just can't make so much of a big deal out of it. You just got to do it. So I just took the mixing needle off and I've got the injecting needle on. I really struggle with the trigger shots because there's so much fluid in them and your whole tummy is covered in bruises already. So, because I find like the liquid kind of disturbs the bruises and that's what makes it hurt. So I always seem to go right on the edge of my stomach for the trigger shots, just to try not to bump up against the bruises. But we haven't filmed very much this cycle. I think we're just beyond it. We just can't anymore. I know John hasn't felt much like filming. I haven't felt much like filming, especially because this cycle was unexpectedly brutal. Like after last cycle where it took 3 cycles. We fertilized 11 eggs, ended up with 1 embryo that came back PGS abnormal. So that was 3 months of work that amounted to nothing. And then this cycle, we went in on for the first scan and I had 9 follicles that looked great. I think it's because I was using up a bit of Menopur, which there's a world shortage of. So then I had to switch medications and then all the follicles just stopped developing. And so it's been a real downer, to be honest, because like, I think the thing that we're finding really challenging at the moment is that things are almost going well and then they're completely falling apart. And we're finding that quite challenging. In some ways, I think we would find it easier to not have hope, if that makes sense. Like having hope and then having it dashed over and over again is particularly brutal. I mean, I guess that's IVF, isn't it? But well, that's infertility. But I don't know. All right, here we go. Ow, my ice is on my knees, freezing me. Okay. So yeah, very early start for my egg retrieval. I have to be there. Oh, yeah, so that's that hitting up against that bruise thing. So just give it a second. I have to be there at 5:30 in the morning. So yeah, that's going to be super fun. My procedure's at 7. But at least I'll get kind of the full day to rest and I won't have to fast for very long. So silver linings where you can find them. Yeah. I just can't believe we're still doing egg collections. I think we just wanted to see if we could use up the remaining sperm and try and make 1 more embryo that could be PGS tested. Because we have so many untested embryos. It's funny, a lot of people who maybe haven't been through quite as much IVF as us, and maybe are more lucky on their first or second cycle they say, oh, but you guys have got so many embryos, you'll be all right. And unfortunately, it's just not the case for us. We know it's not the case for us. And even just the fact that I'm 40 years old, it's very different for a 40-year-old than it is for, I mean, I just don't think you should ever judge somebody by how many embryos they have or how many follicles they have. Some people don't have the end result that you expect that you might have if you had that many. If that makes sense. Okay, one down, one to go. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. You can't really judge just because if you had a certain amount of embryos might mean you would be successful, but for some people they know that they won't be successful with that number or that number of eggs or whatever. Especially if you're a bit of a veteran at this. Where is there not a bruise? I mean, the problem is that John and myself are so good at injecting, we don't give me too many bruises, but they're under the surface and you can't see them. Well, you can see them a little bit. It just looks like discoloration a little bit. And I really hate injecting on top of bruises. It's one of my worst things. Maybe there. Maybe there. I wish John was here. He would pick better than me. Maybe there? No. Let's go here. Okay. And make it really numb. Yeah. So anyway, not a lot of hope for this cycle. I have so many follicles, but only some of them are big enough and the rest of them are super teeny. And I think it's probably that I just don't respond to this new medication as well as I did to the old one, which we can no longer get. So it's just another sucky thing. It's taken me so many cycles to figure out what works for my body, and now we have that taken away. So yeah, it's pretty brutal. Anyway, how are you guys? Are you okay? I mean that genuinely. I think most people who are watching this are probably going through a lot. If you're not going through IVF right now and you're watching this, thank you for being interested, because I still do feel that there's quite a lot of stigma around this process. People who are experiencing it are intensely interested and intensely motivated to understand it, and everyone else, even friends and family, just can't get out of that fertile mindset and put themselves in somebody's shoes and imagine what it must be like. They just don't seem to understand or care, or I don't know. I guess all of us are like that with lots of things, but I think I do try to have empathy for a lot of the well, for everyone really, but particularly a lot of the high profile things. And infertility is pretty high profile. It's only going to keep increasing. So it feels like an us and them kind of mentality, which I don't know what I mean. You know what I mean? I think if you've been through it, you know. Okay, I'm definitely numb. I wait until it's like super, super painful numb, because I do not want to feel this needle or this bucket load of fluid that has to go in. Okay. Ice pack. Oh, pulled the needle right off. Put it back on. No bubbles. Okay. I know I make a face when I do that. I'm sorry. Yeah, definitely right near a bruise. Yeah. Oh man. It's probably better that John isn't here. He's finding it really challenging that I'm still doing egg collections. We're both very distressed that we transferred those embryos without having really explored well, I say it wasn't really up to us. All injected, only a few minutes late. Oh, thank goodness that's the last needle of this cycle. So obviously I'm only doing an egg collection cycle, so after this I get a little rest. So that is my last needle of the cycle, thank goodness. Thanks for being with us, as always. I can't believe I'm still here, but I guess that's what everybody says when they're going through this. Just have to keep our fingers crossed and keep going until we can't go anymore. It's a race against time, so you don't often don't really get to change your mind or take a different approach, although I am a big believer in taking breaks if you want to. That's never been something that really worked for us, although we have tried it. For us, we feel better when we're making progress and keeping on going, even if that progress is just glacially slow, which it is for us. Anyway, fingers crossed that if we don't get a few eggs, maybe we get some good eggs, that maybe one of them will become a baby, and then it will all be worth it. So, bye guys. Good morning. I'm standing out the front of my house again. It's 5 o'clock in the morning. I have to head to the hospital for my egg collection. I think because I have the 38-hour trigger, they always put me first so that I don't accidentally go over the 38 hours if they're running late or whatever with the surgeries. So I'm always first to have my surgery, and yeah, it's a pretty early start. Here I am again in the waiting room. I almost don't really feel like filming because I'm like, this is so boring doing this so many times, but I guess it's important to, because this is what it's like for a lot of people. So yeah, here I am again. Okay, this is great. The poor nurse just had to tell me that they're out of disposable underwear, which is so funny because they're gonna take it off anyway when I go in for my surgery, but she's like, do you want to just wear your underwear, or do you want to? And I'm just like, I have no dignity left anyway. Looking gorgeous already for my egg retrieval, and everyone knows I've got no underpants on. So I've just woken up from my egg collection. I'm a bit shivery. So they retrieved 4 eggs. Which is okay. I'm not expecting a lot of them to be mature, but I guess we'll see. Hey guys, so I'm recovering from my egg retrieval. This one's hit me really hard. Don't know why. I had a bit of a reaction to the medication that they gave me in the hospital, and I threw up in the car. Luckily I had a sick bag. Anyway, it's been a couple of hours. I've had a big sleep, and now I'm eating the best bowl of homemade potato chips. John bought me potato chips, and they are the best thing in the world. And I think that tradition, that superstition of having McDonald's fries after transfer, I think actually it started by craving salt after retrieval. I'm sure that's where it started, because I want salt right now so badly. So this is the best bowl of chips I've ever had.